The Gypsy's Prophecy, a short story by Jude Painter, read by Beccy Lloyd. I'm a sucker when it comes to saying yes to someone calling at my door trying to sell me something. If an Oriental man came offering new lamps for old, I would immediately be bringing mine out. Or perhaps if someone came along saying they could do a good deal on my soul in return for something desirable, I'd be there. I suppose I always feel that it is as if I and my house have been especially chosen for some fortunate privilege. So when the young woman with dark flashing eyes came to my door, wearing a patchwork skirt made entirely of rich jewel-coloured velvet, offering to sell me some lucky gypsy white heather, even though I had great clumps of both white and purple heather growing in the border beside my drive, I rushed to get my purse. I was surprised, as I didn't think they did that these days. Also, in mitigation of what you may think is my naivety, my great-grandmother had always been very superstitious and had brought Gran up to be the same, who in turn reared Mum to believe that if you refuse to buy from a gypsy, you will have bad luck. She had told me that her family all believed in the evil eye of the gypsy curse, which you should never provoke. The superstitions of my great-grandmother had been diluted through the generations, so that by the time they got down to me there was hardly any left. I say hardly any left, but there was still some lingering. I invited the gypsy, and the scruffy bedraggled-looking child with her, into the house, because I saw the child fidgeting and stamping her feet and knew she needed the toilet with some urgency. I said, "Would you and your daughter like to come inside so she can use the toilet?" "She isn't my little girl. I'm her sister, and she can wait until she gets home," the young woman said firmly. But the little girl, who I took to be about 9, cried out, "Bog! Loo! Toilet! Wee-wee!" in increasingly anguished tones which her sister at last found impossible to ignore. We all went inside. If it was lucky to buy white heather from a gypsy, I reasoned, how much luckier it would be to invite 2 into my house. Besides, the poor child was desperate. When the little girl, Demelza I was told, had finished, we all went into the kitchen, where I had a freshly made tray of melting moment biscuits cooling. Big Sister wanted to refuse to eat or drink anything in my house. Maybe she had a superstition about it too. But Demelza said, "You're not the boss of me, and I'm hungry," reaching for the largest biscuit. She explained to me that Demelza was not quite right, a bit slow. After the child had eaten 2 biscuits, I distracted her because she was eyeing up the rest, by giving her some felt pens, crayons, and drawing paper, while we adults drank mugs of tea. Big Sister was attractive, and I judged her to be around my age. I admired her beautiful, colourful skirt and asked if she made it herself. She told me that she enjoyed sewing. I confessed that I was really bad at that sort of thing. We spoke about the weather for a while, and then both of us seemed at a loss for what else to talk about. Maybe this was an unusual situation for her, as well as me. She seemed to feel that she should offer me something in return for my hospitality. She asked if I would like her to read my tea leaves. I said that I would, but that I had used tea bags and the leaves were locked away in their soggy sachets. I offered to tip some out, but instead she said she could read my fortune if she held an object belonging to me in her hand and felt the vibes. She explained that she came from a long line of fortune tellers, or women gifted with the power. That her grandmother had it, followed by her aunt, and now it had descended to her. There was always one in every generation. I had been feeling very emotional and shaky since I got up that morning, so I hoped she might be able to tell me something to ease my worries. I took off my wristwatch and she held it tightly in both hands, closed her eyes, and looked as if she might be having some psychic insights. I waited hopefully. "Do you know someone called Susan who has had a recent problem with her feet?" When I shook my head, she continued, speaking rapidly. "Are you going on a journey, or have you been on a journey?" When I again shook my head, she tried, "Or perhaps you are hoping to go on a journey, or know someone who is about to go on a journey?" My confidence in her powers was draining away by now. She tried a few more suggestions about a sailor named Jim and a man with a handlebar moustache, both of which meant nothing to me. By this time, I think we both thought that we should call it a day. I don't know how she felt, but I was convinced the power had passed her by. As they stood to leave, Demelza was keen to show me the pictures she had drawn. She explained, "This is the poor baby boy who has gone away, and this is his brother, another poor baby who has gone away." She shook her head sadly. "But don't be upset about it, because a little baby girl is coming now, and it will be all right." I could hardly take it in. I knew immediately that she was referring to my 2 miscarriages and the baby I'd found out that morning that I was expecting.